joining us today. Today we will be exploring personal care communities in Pennsylvania. My name is Catherine Bainbridge and we are here at Juniper Village at Brookline State College. This personal care community is just one of 1,200 that are in the state of Pennsylvania. Throughout the tour today, you will see a variety of different programs, dining experiences, and meet several staff. Please take note as you may have some questions as you are touring your own communities in the area. Personal care is a unique opportunity to provide services to residents while promoting independency and self. You may find that you have questions. Feel free to write those down and take those when you're touring a personal care community in your area. Let's get started and enjoy the tour.
I think I like the fact that they have a lot of activities for people who cannot get out and do things themselves. I think that is very helpful to older people.
I like playing poker 3 days a week with my friends. And I like to go to exercise class. Once a month, weather permitting, we go on a field trip.
Personal care provides a really unique opportunity to engage in programs not only out in the community, but here on campus. For residents that enjoy being out and about, we have transportation that'll take residents to and from programs, but then we also have a lot of on-site programs in a nice variety, ranging from traditional church services to happy hour, to poker groups, and anything from quilting and book clubs. So there's always a real nice variety of programs. We also encourage residents who maybe aren't involved in activities. Our staff will go and knock on the door and maybe just provide some one-on-one with them too, just to have some socialization. We encourage our residents to structure their own leisure time, but we also want to make sure that they're getting stimulation and doing things that they like to do. The program behind us is a program incorporated with a local university. It's called Refresh, and it's one of the first programs that incorporates residents and staff together. And the research is to see if a moment of relaxation and gentle movement helps provide some contentment in the course of the day. Personal care communities near you may also have connections with other agencies or universities to provide some exciting opportunities for both residents and staff. Personal care communities offer a variety of resident options, from single rooms to suites, private to semi-private, all the way up to almost a mini apartment where residents have a separate living space, a bedroom area. Bathrooms can also vary, where residents may have a full bath with a walk-in shower. Some might be half baths. Some personal care communities, you're sharing a bathroom with your neighbor. Most communities will also offer a different type of bathing option. So there might be a shower in the personal bathroom, but there could be a whirlpool tub in a different area. And so it's good to share what the resident's preference is. We have ladies who love to still soak in a tub once a week. And so here at Juniper, we're able to provide that. We have a whirlpool tub, but it's not uncommon in personal cares to have that. Some personal care communities allow for residents to bring in their own cat or dog, as that can be a very important piece of a resident's life. Other communities may have different pet policies, but allowing families to bring in those furry critters to spend the day with. It'll be important for you to ask what the pet policy is in the community near you and to see how you can incorporate that in the life of your loved one. The beauty of personal care is that there's a lot of variety of how family is involved in the day-to-day. Some family members may choose to do residents' personal laundry. Maybe they were doing that before the resident had moved in. Often a personal care community will offer a laundry service. There may be a cost associated with that, so it would be important to ask. Housekeeping typically comes into the resident room every day. They'll take out the trash, they'll make their bed, and any additional services that they would like.
Every day, housekeepers go into the bathrooms and they change the towels and clean everything up. And once a week, they go into their rooms and they dust and run the sweeper in their rooms. But the most important thing, and I think it is every assisted living, is being friends with the residents and getting along and learning about them. They're almost like family with us. and that's what really counts. And you can tell it on their faces when they see you and they know you, and a big smile comes on their faces, and that's the most rewarding part of the job.
We encourage our residents to personalize their living accommodations. This is just one example of a resident bringing many of his prized possessions to his new home and making it comfortable for him. We are now in our memory care area of Juniper Village at Brookline. Memory care is becoming an increased need in personal care. I have with me today Liz Plosner-Chalfa, the Executive Director of the memory care community here. She is also a certified dementia practitioner and educator. Liz, thank you for joining me today. Can you share a little bit about memory care?
Sure, yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to touch on why memory care support is needed. It is growing, a diagnosis that is much needed. When you're looking at memory care support buildings, you're going to want to look for staffing ratio because each care need is very important when you're caring for those with mild cognitive impairment or impairment needs. When you look at staffing ratios, you're going to want to make sure that they're higher because we want to personalize that care in each individual that we touch. Each individual with the diagnosis of dementia is different, so any person that you meet with the disease could be different from every individual that we're currently serving. With that, so we try to get as much information as we can from families and get their daily routine. We at Juniper Village use a system called My Life Stories, but I know across the industry standard, everyone is using a tool to get to know each person that we are caring for. With that, we try to get routines, schedules, hobbies, interests, what they like to do from children, middle adulthood, adult, and to late stage. So once we collect all of our information from families, and we also get information from the resident, what they like to do, we then create a wonderful care plan, and it's personalized based on each individual. So how we would be caring for one individual would be different than the next. That could be a 2-hour toiling routine, that could be redirection, that could be hobbies, interests, and even our programming. That's our connections and our activities program. So if someone really enjoys painting, then that is a program that we would make sure that's on the calendar. We feel that a very routine and schedule is available on a daily basis so that the resident always is being empowered, but also enjoys what they like doing on a daily basis. In memory care, a lot of times what we do is validation therapy. So we join the journey, and that is reliving in the moment that the resident is currently living in. There's no arguing, it's just joining and being a part of their reality. There's no right, there's no wrong, and it's just to be there with them as a companion to brighten up their day, their spirit, and also be a part of every moment that they're in.
So this population, it holds a very special place in my heart. I think it takes a special person with a big heart, and just to really hone in on abilities over disabilities and to bring the person that is still in there out each and every day to truly make them smile, I think is the most rewarding part and why I love memory care. Our team works together in every little part of the day, whether it be getting someone to the activities, whether it be getting someone to care, or even providing the activities to get them engaged enough to wake up and be a part of their care. It's a well-oiled machine. Our dietary department will kind of cater their diets to their restrictions, and I think pushing fluids, our wellness team helps push the fluids, our connections team does, pushing nutrients. I think just every department works well with one another, and we have to.
Juniper Village has a program called the Best Friends, and all of our residents have their own best friend. They get assigned a best friend the minute that they move in, and this is the opportunity for our team to get to know each individual that we serve. They are able to be with them 30 minutes throughout the week, 10 minutes or 30 depending on the time that allows. They participate in ice cream socials or different activity events, and it really starts to develop a relationship, because chances are you'll tell your best friend if you have pain or if something's not going right, more so than someone who's coming to check and give you medications.
Our Best Friends program, it is designed to have our staff interact beyond the ADLs to really improve the relationship with our residents. So it is that familiar face. If someone's having a bad day, their best friend can go up and say, hey, let's talk, what's going on? So it's to really go outside of the care needs and go to a social need. With our direct care staff, all staff members have a best friend, and you just go out of your way each and every day to sit down and just talk, maybe have a cookie, have a drink, have coffee, go outside for a walk, just to really just improve in quality of life for everyone, including our staff and our residents. And I think it makes our staff look forward to those moments. Like, we have ice cream socials, popcorn parties, we'll have painting programs, we have a whole bunch of activities that are available to our best friends, so they can also provide, fun things while they're hanging out.
We also provide different activities throughout the day. We call concurrent programming. So that way we are able to offer more choice and diversity when it comes to the program. So for example, there might be a manicure with a men's group, a puzzle, and a movie playing, so that the resident has the opportunity to choose what they would like to participate in. Or after another activity, join another activity that is currently happening. We very much so believe in short activity program times to allow interest and also attention span. We don't want something that is going to last longer than what the resident would like to participate in. So keeping them kind of short and having a lot available is a wonderful choice opportunity for them.
We provide our activities to the interests, past, present, and maybe curiosities that they'd like to learn. So like, for example, the two artists, one was a painting teacher, so an art teacher, and the other one was an artist. She's well known with her collage art painting. If you look her up on Google, she'll say, give me a Google, and her artwork is there, and she's going to be our featured artist within our art auction as well, come February. So I think just catering activities to the interests and the abilities of our residents is so key, because we want to bring their true self forward each and every day. So I think knowing our residents through and through their interest, I think, is so important, and that's what we try to do with our activities and catering it on an individualized standard. Families, from a customer service standpoint, you always want to make their day, smile, greet them. I think it's the little things that make the biggest difference. But beyond that, I think it's providing support for the family as they cope with their loved one changing, with the disease. We have support groups that we have our families involved, family council meetings, so any feelings that they have towards the building, things we can change, things we can do better, things we're doing great. We always love feedback from our families. And we also love to have events to bring families in, so there's fun opportunities to engage with their loved one, because there is sometimes that deficit, or they don't know how to quite interact with their loved one in the disease. So we like to provide meaningful opportunities to have fun with their loved one, no matter what stage of the disease that they're in.
Personal care communities are based on a social model. We encourage our residents to structure their own leisure times and engage in programs throughout the day, but there is a medical need. Today I have with me Katie Castro, our Director of Wellness here at Juniper, who will talk a little bit about the roles of the nursing department in a personal care community.
Here in personal care, our residents enter with multiple different levels of needs. We assess those needs at the time of admission and then annually and as needed. Residents may be considered what we call a village living, which is a resident who maybe only needs a little bit of assistance each day. Care related to medication management, or just overall assistance with helping to schedule transportation and doctor's appointments. Residents with a little bit more of a need may receive assistance with showering, bathing, and dressing. And then we do have residents who have an extensive level of need in personal care. They may require assistance with transferring in and out of bed, toileting and incontinence care. It's important to recognize that every personal care home is different and the services that are provided. Asking those questions can help you to determine which level of care is the most appropriate for your resident.
One of the things that I do like about it is I don't have to worry about my medication. They give me my medicine twice a day. I don't know what I'm taking, but it's keeping me well. They're good to me. They're good to me. I have not one complaint at all. Not one. Not one.
I'm here to make life easier for my children. I think it does give them all peace of mind, and they found that I was not taking my medications properly, and this way they know that Mom is taken care of. So
The personal care aides are really the glue to the community. They are the most integral part of the care that we provide. I always tell new nurses when they come in that if you don't respect your care aides and you don't support them, you're not going to succeed. Those are the people that matter the most. They have the most one-on-one time with the residents throughout the day. They tend to know our residents better than the rest of the staff, being that they spend so much time with them. They become more like family and very close friends to the residents. The nurse aides provide very personal care, and it's based on what each resident needs, but it's emotional, it is physical support, it is a socialization. At Juniper, we have great programs that include things like the Best Friend program, where we try to spend a little bit more time with our residents throughout the week and getting to know them, not only so that the resident feels that connection with a staff member, but also so the staff member can recognize changes that might be imperative to the success of the resident. If there's a decline or a special need that comes up, the resident aide a lot of times is going to be the person to recognize that first and foremost. The resident assessment and support plan is done on admission annually, and then with any significant change that occurs. Every team member plays a part in the development of the care plan or the RASP. As far as collecting information on how the resident eats, what toileting assistance do they need, who manages their finance, who schedules their appointments, what are their diagnoses, and then we take all of those things, we assess the resident need, we determine who's going to meet that need and how often is it necessary. For our nursing assistants, again, they play a big part in fulfilling most of the needs on that RASP. So they are able to access it in personal care and assisted living. Some communities have different forms of the RASP. Some are electronic, some are in paper form. Here at Juniper, we have an electronic form that we use, and all of our care aides have access to that 24/7. The staff here at Juniper Village in Senior Living happens to be all licensed practical nurses. They're on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not all personal care homes or assisted livings have LPNs on duty. When you're seeking placement for a loved one, it's important to really ask those kinds of questions. What are your expectations of the care staff that's in the building? What can they manage and what can they handle? Medical technicians can be very, very helpful in this living setting, because residents are often, in need of very minimal assistance in a lot of places. Just that help with medication management, they don't want to cook or clean anymore, so the med techs are trained. They are receive annual training to complete and meet the needs of the residents in each community. Medication management, again, is a big part of what most of the residents in the personal care and assisted living community are seeking assistance with. Families typically come in on that initial visit with the community admissions coordinator or director, and that's one of the questions that comes up first. How are we going to manage it? Who's going to manage it? Do they have to use our house pharmacy? Can we use our own pharmacy? So those things are all discussed on the initial meeting, and when we create the pre-admission screening, which is part of personal care and assisted living in Pennsylvania, we determine what kind of level we think the resident's going to need with medication assistance. From that point on the initial medication evaluation, which is similar to an annual physical. They're required upon admission to personal care and assisted living, and then completed annually or if there's a significant change. On that form, the physician identifies what kind of assistance the resident needs. That's then put into the plan of care. So residents have the opportunity to store, self-administer their own medications within their room, within the parameters of regulations, or they can receive assistance up to full medication management from the medication technician or the LPN on duty, or they could receive assistance with just managing the administration but storing their own medications in their room. So there are multiple different levels of intervention that the healthcare provider can become involved with on a day-to-day basis for the residents. Medication management is very difficult for a lot of people because the struggle is, how do I get the pills to my loved one in the community? Most companies or our community, per se, has a house recommended pharmacy that we use. They do not have to utilize that pharmacy, but it is available to them. They're available for us 24/7 for stat or emergency medications as well, which is really important to know if your home has a backup pharmacy. Should you be unavailable to get a new medication or prescription in place for your loved one, you need to know that there's the potential to get that medication as needed, especially when you're thinking about antibiotics that can be crucial to the success of the resident in the future in your home.
They have a nurse practitioner here that is wonderful. And I've switched over to her as my primary care. And I was so impressed because I saw her for a comprehensive exam just about a week or so ago. I was talking on the phone to a friend, and the door opened, and in comes this huge X-ray machine. And I go, whoa. All of that was taken care of here. And believe me, when you have trouble moving around, that is a big plus, not just for me, but for my daughters.
In the Juniper facilities, there is a clinic office, but I also go to residents' rooms, apartments, and I have some folks in the community that come into my outpatient office. So we have a number of different places where people are seen. What's unique in this role is it is such a blessing to be able to provide health care in the way most of us wish we could but can't any longer. There's no clock or timer or census I have to complete at the end of the day. I see everybody who needs to be seen. If somebody takes extra time, I can take it. If something is shorter, that's lovely. But it has allowed me to, after many years of practicing in environments where there's a time constraint, because it's a realistic time constraint, I'm afforded the luxury of spending time when it's needed. And it does make my days longer sometimes, but it is extremely fulfilling. But they are very, very much about the care of each and every resident. That comes first. And so if I need to spend an hour with a family discussing end-of-life options, I can do that. I don't have to take 20 minutes and wrap it up. And there aren't many positions like that anymore. And it truly has been a blessing. I think the residents notice the benefit of it because so many tell me I haven't had the opportunity to have somebody listen to me.
The dining experience is an important part in the day-to-day activity of our residents. Not only do we provide nutritional meals, but it's also a great opportunity for socialization. The dining experience is one of choice. Residents have several different food options for each meal. Here at Juniper Village, they're presented with a menu where they can select options right then for the meal. Please ask when you're providing a tour for a sample menu as to what they serve during the day. Also ask what dietary restrictions they can accommodate, ranging from no added salt diets to vegan to gluten-free. It's important to find out those things ahead of time so that way you're not needing to provide nutritional supplements for your loved one. Outdoor spaces can be a very therapeutic service for residents. Here at Juniper, we offer residents the opportunity to garden. Residents behind me are tending to their gardens. It's a nice natural way for residents to get their daily dose of vitamin D, also get some nice fresh air and socialization. Personal care can really serve as a service that alleviates some care for families. Oftentimes families have already been doing care in the home for their loved one, whether it's taking them to doctor's appointments, doing their laundry, cutting their grass. These little things that maybe at first didn't seem like very much, but now it's a lot of hours in the day. And so personal care can provide a little bit of relief for families. They can go back to being sons and daughters and husbands and wives, come to visit and share a meal together, or go on an outing together, or just sit and spend time together without having those caregiver responsibilities, all while maintaining a very active role and knowing just what's going on in the day-to-day.
When you're researching a place to live, this is your new home. This becomes a community that you're moving into. You are moving into. It is just as important as buying a house. You know, you want to make sure that that you fit into the neighborhood. You know, in the same way that you would when you were buying a house, making sure that it's meeting the needs that you have. So you're going to need to research. Do they have these social aspects that they're looking for? Do they have the medical care that you need? Do they have the environment? Are they in the right area? Are they close to your family? Are they far from your family? All of those things, you know, really go and see the personal care communities. Make sure that you tour them. Make sure that you talk to the team. Make sure you talk to the residents that live in them. Make sure that you talk to everybody that you can, more than the marketer, really, to get an idea of what a community feels like. You'll get a feeling when you go into a community, and knowing if that's the right one for you based on that feeling is often the deciding factor, I think, and but it's a huge decision.
Day one, we walk into their room and we introduce ourselves, and we tell them what we do and if there's anything they need, you know. And many of them are upset because they have to move to assisted living, and we try to express to them how much we understand. You know, you're taken care of. We're here to help you in any way we can. And I think that's true throughout any assisted living, you know, facility, campuses. It's all about making them feel at home.
Part of the process for move-in really is getting to know you as a resident. We do our best to find out everything that we can. The more we know about an individual, the better we can help assist them in their care and help take care of them. So we're going to be asking questions about your former life, your former, how you spent your days, when did you do your laundry, when did you take a shower, you know, all of those kind of questions to make sure that we can keep your routine to be as similar to the routine you had at home as possible.
They've been wonderful, I've thought. It wasn't that much of a transition. That I wasn't quite used to having people come and bring my medicine and, you know, take it, but I don't get that much. I don't need that much help. But it's nice to know it's there if you need it.
I'm more happy here with these people than I was home by myself. It's my family. It's my family.
Thank you for joining me today at Juniper Village at Brookline State College. I hope you found this tour to be informative and to spark some questions that you might have as you're exploring personal care communities in your area. To find more information on personal care communities near you, please visit findpacare.org.